Kale, kale, kale! We grow it in Oregon. We eat it in school. Kale! Kale. My name is Annie, and I guess you could say I like to read a lot. And my favorite snack to eat while I'm reading is kale dip, and that's what I'm making today. Kale dip with Oregon-grown kale. The recipe for making kale dip is an easy read, which is fabulous, so I can make it by reading along. This is the story of how to make kale dip. Chapter 1. Kale. We grow 4 kinds of kale in our school garden: purple, green, red, and my top favorite, dinosaur kale. This leaf looks just like the skin of this dinosaur. I read that this dino was an herbivore, which means that it liked vegetables like kale. Could you imagine how much kale a dinosaur could eat? They could eat an entire farmer's kale crop in one bite. Compared to my half-cup serving, that's an enormous amount of kale. Back to the kale dip! You need kale to make kale dip, but you don't want the tougher rib for this recipe. You just want the soft leafy part. Remove all the ribs, then roll the soft leaves into a ball and cut the ball of kale into thin strips. Kale can have a bitter taste, so squeeze and mash with your washed hands to soften the taste. 3 cups of soft, mashed up kale. Sauté the mashed kale in a hot pan with a half teaspoon of oil. Yum! And then let it cool, let it cool, let it cool. Blending time! 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese, 1 clove of garlic, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon red pepper flakes, 1 tablespoon lemon juice. And finally, the color kale of your desires. Blend, blend, blend. And that's the story of how to make kale dip. And now it's time to cozy up with my kale dip snack and see what happens next in my book. To learn more about kale, search Oregon Harvest for schools.